Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan. I am an attorney and I talk all things law. I break things down so they're easy to understand, and I also talk about high-profile cases. Today we are talking about the state of Florida versus Danielle Redlick. This case was just decided last week. She was found not guilty on second-degree murder charges of her husband, and I really just need to know if you guys agree with the jury's verdict or not, because this case is kind of wild. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Danielle and Michael Redlick. Married for 15 years, had 2 kids together, 20-year age difference. Age is just a number. I don't personally care about an age difference, but I'm just trying to give you a little context. But perhaps the most interesting fact is that Michael Redlick was Danielle's stepdad before he was her husband. Yep. He was married to her mom died, and then the two of them got married and had 2 kids. So apparently their relationship was abusive. They were both cheating on each other at some point. Allegedly he was cheating first, but then she got onto dating sites, and it was a whole mess. He is a former NBA executive. They lived in Orlando, Florida. He, after working for the NBA, worked at UCF, which is University of Central Florida. He was in their sports department. Anyway, let's get into the interesting stuff. So the night of January 11, 2019, the two of them got into a fight about her texting another guy, and they eventually both ended up leaving the house. She went to McDonald's, got herself a sandwich. He went out and did Lord knows what. She came back home. She was sitting down to eat her sandwich, and he came back home. When he came back home, he took her sandwich, he took her phone, they started yelling at each other, and eventually the altercation got physical, and he allegedly, this is all according to her, right? Because Michael's dead. So allegedly had her pinned down on the kitchen island, and she was able to reach for a knife and stab him in the shoulder. When she stabbed him in the shoulder, she ran off into the bathroom and hid. After about 15 minutes, she didn't hear anything. So she was like, did he leave? Is he okay? Maybe I should go out there and check on the situation. So she went out of the bathroom and saw a pool of blood, and then found her husband's body laying in a pool of blood. And doesn't call 911. She assesses the situation. So she's just trying to figure out what happened, you know? So she's looking at him, she's looking at his wound, you know, where she stabbed him, and she thinks, did he die from that, or did he die of a heart attack? I don't know, but I'm still not gonna call 911. Then she starts cleaning. So she gets out the mops, she gets out the towels, she gets out the bleach, and she's cleaning the scene, okay? Still hasn't called 911. Then she eventually falls asleep next to him, and she was allegedly on a dating app, you know, as she's like, I don't know, that night she's on her dating app. She falls asleep next to him, and the next morning when she wakes up, she starts cleaning again. So she's cleaning up the scene, and then she's like, well, what do I do now? So she Googles how to slit your wrists, and she ends up slitting her wrist. Once she slits her wrist, then she calls 911, because I'm assuming at this point she's a little freaked out. She doesn't want to die, right? And she's bleeding. So she calls 911. By the time she calls 911, 11 hours passed since her husband died, okay? So she initially tells the 911 operator that she thinks it was a heart attack. Well, then, when the medical examiner didn't find any evidence of a heart attack, she said he stabbed himself. Then, when the case went to trial, she says, well, I stabbed him in self-defense. So the story changes a bit. Now, I said that the jury didn't find her guilty of second-degree murder. They did find her guilty of tampering with evidence. So she will have a sentencing hearing on that count on August 5th. So we'll figure out how much time she has to do for the tampering with evidence. But they didn't find her guilty of second-degree murder. I'll put the definition here for you guys so you can read it for yourself. But I think maybe if the state would have gone with a lesser charge, like involuntary manslaughter, then maybe she would have been found guilty. But look, if I were the state, I would have thought a jury would have found her guilty. I would have thought this case was easy. You know, I never would have thought that they would have returned a not guilty verdict. So I'm really curious what you guys think, and keep in mind that the burden of proof, as I've talked about on my channel before, is beyond a reasonable doubt. So let me know what you think about this case in the comments. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you on my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really, really helps support my channel. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.